A little backstory before I begin. I'm a 14-year-old boy who lives in Chicago. I'm not very active, and I thought Pokemon Go would be a great way to get myself outside and doing some exercise. Oh, how I was wrong. I've been a big fan on Pokemon ever since I could remember, and my favorite Pokemon is the Blastoise. So the news of a new Pokemon Go coming out for my phone seemed like the best idea in the world. Needless to say, I downloaded it as soon as I could. The game was great, and it got me outside every day for hours, just walking around and exploring. I discovered new parts of my neighborhood I never even knew existed, and I even met a few other kids at Pokestops. I was walking around a strange and new part of my town, which I didn't quite recognize, but I didn't care because I was racking up XP points like no tomorrow. I was looking on my map, and I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw a Blastoise. I actually started to run towards it, and it led me to the front of the yard of some man's house. Without thinking, I knocked on the door, and this middle-aged man answered. He didn't look right. His hair was all over the place, and had a scruffy mustache. But I was so into the game, and wanting to catch the Blastoise, I didn't quite click in my head. I asked the man if I could go in his backyard to catch the Blastoise, and to my surprise, he said yes. When he let me inside his house, he slammed the door shut and locked it. He had the creepy smile on his face and started to ask me how far away I was from home. I was starting to panic, realizing I had made the biggest mistake of my life. He told me to take a seat in an old rusty chair and told me not to move. He went into the kitchen, and I could hear him clinking around his cutlery door and sounded like a knife. I shot up and ran towards the door, trying the hardest to unlock it, but he seemed to have added 3 locks and a chain. I could hear him shouting, "What do you think you're doing? Get back in that chair now!" I managed to open the door and run down the street as fast as I could, before stopping and getting out of breath. When I got home, I told my parents what happened and where it happened. The checkout on this website, Family Watchdog, and if it turned out the man was convicted child molester. After the police got involved, it turned out that he wasn't the first time tried doing that this week. He also used in Pokemon Go, and it was an item called the Lure Module, which brings out Pokemon in certain areas where there's a Pokestop, except it wasn't a Pokemon he was trying to lure out, it was kids.